Define success for yourself. We all want to succeed, right? So the question that we got to ask ourselves is what success is to us, what success is to you. Maybe it's a healthy family. Maybe it's a happy marriage. Maybe it's to help others, to be famous, to be spiritually sound, to leave the world a little bit better place than you found it. Continue to ask yourself that question. Now, your answer may change over time, and that's fine. But do yourself this favor. Whatever your answer is, prioritize who you are, who you want to be, and don't spend time with anything that antagonizes your character. Be brave, take the hill, but first answer that question, what's my hill? For me, it's a measurement of 5 things. We got fatherhood, we got being a good husband, we got my health, we got career, and we got friendships. These are what's important to me in my life right now. So I try to measure these 5 things each day. For instance, sometimes say my career's rolling. All right, it's way up here in the black, but I see how my relationship with my wife maybe could use a little bit more of my attention. I got to pick up the slack on being a better husband because I want to keep all 5 in healthy shape. And I know that if I don't take care of them, if I don't keep up maintenance on them, one of them is going to get weak, man. It's going to dip too deep into the debit section. It's going to go bankrupt. It's going to get sick, die even. So first, we have to define success for ourselves. And then we have to put in the work to maintain it. Take that daily tally. I mean, let's admit it. We've all got 2 wolves in us, a good one and a bad one. And they both want to eat. The best I can tell, we just got to feed that good one a little more than the other one.
Hey everyone, welcome to the RLT podcast where we share some real life tools, tips and tricks to help you not only discover but also reach your ultimate goals.
Welcome back everyone to episode 8 of the RLT podcast, Real Life Tips. I'm your host Leon, I'm joined by Marnu.
What's up everyone? This is such a strange thing for us to do, to have Leon do the introductions. We thought we'd change it up a little bit. Leon, how comfortable were you with doing the introduction to the show and welcoming everyone to the show?
Yeah, no, we're trying to mix it up a little bit. I think, maybe it was successful. You can let us know. I know, how's the weather by you? It's such a beautiful night out. We're recording at like 11:30 at night, which is amazing. I mean, we're quite privileged in our little home studios, man.
Yes, yeah, no, it's actually quite hot. It's funny. I think we actually had a chat about this the other day. In the winter time, this little home office of mine gets extremely cold, and I keep complaining about it. And I just really couldn't wait for summer, because then I figured, okay, well, this side of the house is so cold during winter, which means that it would be so cold during summer as well. And now it's the polar opposite. It's exactly that. So I don't know. Weather's tough, man. It's really, really hot here.
No, it's true. And I mean, I've got a little office upstairs, and obviously it gets hot up here. So in this summertime, I got myself a little portable air conditioning unit, but now with recording and everything, you can't have all that noise in the background. So I'm sitting here sweating at 11:30 at night. But anyways, we hoping to entertain you guys tonight. We've got another very, very good topic tonight. Manu, why don't you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So the topic that we're going to address tonight is on success, and what is your success? What does success mean to you? I think it's such a personal topic, because success to me is entirely different to what success is for you, or for your wife, or for your parents, or for my parents, or for my siblings. I think success is a very, very personal topic, and today we are hoping to share some insights as to discovering what does success mean to you and how to discover that. And if you're not sure, what can you do? What sort of steps can you follow to try and clarify that vision? So that's what we're going to touch on today, Leon. Very, very excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm quite excited as well. I mean, this is, I think, a topic that's, as you said, extremely personal. But at the same time, it's been kind of stereotyped. It's been placed in a box of success means big house, beautiful wife, fancy cars, those kind of things. And I really think that's not the right picture. That's painting completely the wrong picture. That's what this whole episode is about, is to try and kind of discover what it might mean. I mean, like we just said, there's not really a formula to success, and I don't think anyone can tell you what success is to you. But at the very least, I think we can all agree that big cars and a large bank account, that does not necessarily mean success. It could be a part of what depicts your success. Maybe your hard work and your passions has led to those effects of your success, but it absolutely does not necessarily define success. So I don't know, Manu, where do you want to start with this topic? Let's dive right in.
Yeah, sure. I think it's you're so right in saying that, Leon, because a lot of people place success into this little box and they give it out to the world, right? We hear about this when we're in school. We hear about this when growing up, our parents telling us that we want you to be a success. We want you to be successful in life, right? And we hear people bragging about that on social media or in conversations. It comes up that my children are so successful because they do X, Y, and Z. But my kid is so successful. He's a doctor. He's making $1 million a month, and he drives the latest BMW or the latest Mercedes. But what if that is not my success? What if that's not what I want to achieve? Maybe that's not what success means to me, is to be rich, right? So I take, for instance, I've come across a lot of people where they don't live in a nice place, they don't drive a nice car, and they're happy and they see themselves as successful. They just make enough money to get by and do the things they want to do and spend time with the people they want to spend time with, right? And that to them is success. They feel that they've achieved success. And who am I to go and challenge that and say, but you don't have as much money as your best friend or as this person. So that's what we're going to touch on today. So the first question I want to ask to you in the audience, if you're listening to this, maybe this is the first time that you're joining the podcast. If it is, welcome. And we hope that you're going to enjoy the show with us today. And if you want to find out more about the show, go and listen to the very first pilot episode. We explain everything in the sense of what it is that we're trying to accomplish and why it is that we have this show here. But today, the very first question I want to pose to you in the audience is, what does success mean to you? Do you know what success is? Do you know what you define as success? And we're going to extrapolate that entire concept today and see if we can uncover to some degree what success means to us, to myself and Leon, and in turn really hope to help you discover what your success is and what success means to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Super interesting. I think we're going to get quite a mixed bag of answers here. I mean, there's going to be your west and east kind of people. I think and I hope that if you listen to our previous podcasts, you would probably have learned that we go a little bit deeper than just, skin surface. So, one of the things that I've realized as, seeing yourself as successful is having peace of mind, going to bed at night, not worried about too many things going around in your head, being content, being okay with where you are. And that doesn't necessarily mean rich, poor, big house, small house. Absolutely not. It might be completely polar opposite. I'll give you a bit of an example here, and I mean, let's start quite fresh and early with the examples. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the National Geographic and Discovery channels of the world and so on. And I've seen some of these dudes that they show living in the middle of a forest with like hardly anything, and they don't even know what money means. And I mean, if you went up to these guys and you start discovering what their lives are like, and you look at how they treat their children and their family and how they look after each other, it's so humbling to know that that is a form of success. That is just a very, very far removed from modern success form and the stereotypical type of success that we all see and that gets published by the media and so on. But it's a form of success nonetheless. For them, it's an absolute success if they have built themselves a little hut that doesn't leak when it rains in the forest, that's a successful day for them. So it needs to start with that kind of thinking in mind. That will lead us into the discussion we're going to have tonight, to kind of explain that we're not talking about financial success and wealth tonight. Not tonight. Maybe in other episodes, but definitely not tonight. Tonight is really about finding that self-contentment feeling, being completely at peace of mind. And it's like a self-satisfaction that you've got with your life and everything pretty much surrounding your life.
Absolutely. I think I'm just going to dive straight into it, Leon, because I'm very, very excited to get to the core of today's discussion. And to, once again, this is the RLT podcast, so the Real Life Tips podcast. And we will leave you with a real life tip or an action step at the end of this, because we want you to go ahead and apply this. But I'm so excited that I'm just going to dive straight into it and say that what success means to me, and this is something that I've thought about for such a long time, and it's probably still on my mind every day, or at least every second day of every week for the last couple of years, is what does success mean to me? And I'm constantly reevaluating that. So I'm going to say this, that success to me is not one specific thing, right? It's not just having money. It's not just having a healthy family. It's a combination of a few things that play a very, very large role in my life on a daily basis. And that is, to me, success. So success isn't, to me, the end goal that I want to achieve. And it hasn't always been like this. It's changed a lot over the last couple of years. I used to see success as this end goal, this light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to keep chasing after it, and eventually I'll get to it, and I'll be successful. And we set up certain milestones. We tell ourselves that if I buy this house, if I do this, if I get this job, then I'll consider myself successful. Just to only find that even when you are there, you don't see yourself as successful, and that goal always, or that you keep on piling on milestones after milestones. So to me, success is a series of successful days, and the little ways, the things that the little successes that I achieve. So for instance, you did mention you go to bed, you're content with your life, you're happy, you're happy with what you've achieved for that day. And success can change. It's not saying that what is your success, and let's answer that question today or this week, and then you write it down, and that is something that you will see as success for the rest of your life. It can change, it can adapt. Maybe to me, success used to be having a fancy car, and I bought that, and that was cool, and now I'm happy with it. But I still don't feel successful when I compare myself to others, right? So it's really saying that yes, the fancy car is part of what makes me feel successful, but it's also being healthy, being fit, being very close to my peers at work, being in very intimate relationships with the people that are in my life, to the extent that I actually care about them. I care about how their days are going. I care about what they're doing in their lives as well. So it's a combination of a few little things to me. I don't know, Leon, what is success to you at the core principle of it?
Yeah, I don't really even know if I have to find that for myself yet. And you touched on something quite important. If I were to explain the whole concept of, success is an ever-changing horizon. So a horizon is obviously something you can see but you can't touch. So it's something that you're always like striving towards. So if you, for example, in school, a successful school life is, passing through matric with good grades. Then you're going to go through maybe university if you're fortunate enough. And that again will have a similar kind of success that you look at. When you're in university or while you're in school, you don't think about the success you're going to have when you've got 5 kids and 3 dogs, and that just doesn't work like that. So you're going to get through your university, then you're going to get successful in the sense of getting a first job, then you're going to get successful in the sense of maybe finding a loved one and settling down, then you're going to be fast forward 20-30 years okay, maybe not that long, maybe 10, 15 years for some, you'll become a parent, and then you'll become a granddad. And every time your success goalpost will change, and it will never ever quite be within reach. But the whole point is that success is not really a destination. It's always going to be like something that you work towards and that you strive towards, and something that changes. So for me, at this point in time of my life, I'm a mid 30-year-old person, not trying to give away my age. I've got 2 beautiful kids. I've got 2 semi-okay dogs. I've got a house. I'm happy, and my health is okay. I could probably do a lot better there. Finances is okay. So I feel at this moment that I'm quite successful. There's this underlying thought of doing better and doing more. Probably hence the reason starting the podcast that we've spoken about for so long that we want to do. And that's, filling in a couple of the blank spaces in my version of what I see as success right now. But I don't know what my success is going to be in 10 years when, my daughter's entering, for example, high school. And then in another 10 years, she's going to probably start looking at marrying someone. And then, it's really, really difficult to decide what actually makes up that success. What I've noticed about success, and this is probably the most important thing, is that success is an attitude. It's absolutely an attitude. It requires you to do maximum effort all year long, all day long, all week long, except for the bad days. Everyone gets bad days. No one says that you need to be perfect and have only good days. But for the good days, do maximum effort. It's a peace of mind, and that's peace of mind is a state of mind that you want to be in. And as long as your attitude is positive, and you are permanently working towards your goals, your purpose. We spoke about your why, so a lot of these episodes are tying so perfectly into each other. That you're going to feel successful, and you will probably, and this is something I want to touch on maybe when I speak again, but you'll probably start measuring yourself to others, and then start doubting your success. I don't know, Manu, have you had that situation where you've got mates in matric, for example, and you meet up 5 years later and you're like, holy crap, I'm not successful. This dude's got a Ferrari already. Absolutely. Or whatever. I mean, that's a crazy example, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Leon. I think we all have reached a point in our lives and probably do that on an ongoing basis where we compare ourselves with others and the successes that they've achieved. And we think to ourselves, wow, if only I could be as cool as that person, if only I could be as successful as that person, because they started their own business, they followed their dreams, and they seem on the surface very happy and successful and all those things. And a lot of the times you find yourself, you're right, comparing your success to someone else's success, and only to find that maybe that wouldn't have even fulfilled you at the end of the day, first and foremost. And secondly, it's not your success, right? You have to discover what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that you feel is going to contribute to that success feeling of coming back home, getting into bed, after a very long day of intense work, of so many things happening in our lives, and saying that today was successful. So I actually read a book, or I say read a book, but I actually listened to an audiobook from Deepak Chopra. By the way, I'll link it in the show notes if you're interested. It's a very short book, audiobook, so you can go and listen to it on Audible. And it's the 7 laws of success. And he actually deep dove into the entire, broke it down into a few conceptualized ideas or steps of achieving success or defining what success means to you. And he calls this the 7 laws of success. And he started with a couple of points of mindfulness, being in the moment, and giving back to others, and karma, and the law of karma, of giving back, that what you sow you will reap, right? Or that what you give to others you will get back. And it touches on so many different topics of saying that it's a balanced equation. It's not a once off one thing. If I have a large bank account or if I have a nice car, it's I've achieved success. But it's really tapping into the things that really matter to you. I'll give you an example actually. So to me, for instance, I've discovered that a lot of the times when I'm down, when I hit a really, really bad downer, then I feel that I have to sit down and analyze it. I've got a very analytical mindset, so I have to go and analyze, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling right now? And more often than not, I find myself that I feel that I haven't achieved enough for that day, or I haven't progressed in anything or in any aspect of my life. And I discovered that my success, or success to me, means growth on a daily basis. It's not something that I want to do or set up as an annual goal. I wanted to break it down into daily routine and to say that I want to have a series of successful days, and for me to achieve that, I have to grow on a daily basis. So to me, a successful day could be getting some reading time in, getting some exercise in, meaning physical and mental growth, right? But also at least having a meaningful conversation with someone close in my life, phoning my mom, phoning my dad, asking how is life going at the moment, is there anything I can help with? Is there anything I can give to help you to make your life a little bit better? That is sort of summarizing a few of the items that would mean success or a successful day to me. But to someone else, it could be something entirely different. And I think it's such an important topic to understand that success is not the end goal. Success is something that you have to apply each and every single day.
I think when it comes to the question of success, if you had to kind of bundle it into one concept, is how happy are you? Happiness and joy, that's a very, very good indicator of your personal success. If I'm, had to probably put it into maybe an explanation or maybe some bit of a example, you can think about extremely successful entrepreneurs, right? If you look at the couple of people that work inside Silicon Valley, obviously there's so many of them, and many books will try and link a few stories in the show notes. But extremely successful entrepreneurs, at least in the terms of traditional business success, work impossibly long hours while focusing almost exclusively on building their business. But in many cases, that means that at that point in time, they have no time for anything else. Does that mean that they're successful? I don't think it does, nor does it not. Because in the one sense, they are working towards their why, from our previous episode. In one sense, they might be building their purpose. And this is a stepping stone towards that. But in the other sense, in that finite moment of working impossibly long hours, they are sacrificing a lot. They're sacrificing time with people, interaction with loved ones, and so on. So there's always going to be a trade-off, fair or unfair. It's completely besides the point. So trade-offs are completely unavoidable. If you're making a ton of money but you're still unhappy, you haven't really embraced the fact that incredible business success often carries a heavy personal price. So you can't really have both. I don't know, maybe at some point when you are so wealthy that people do your work for you, and sure, some people get to that point, but realistically most people don't. Then yes, maybe you can strike that balance again, but at the end of the day, you always have to give something up. At the other side of the spectrum, you could be one of those people that says, listen, I'm not going to really care too much about my work. I'm going to leave at 4 o'clock. Okay, maybe that's normal time for most people, but you know what I mean. And I'm going to spend a lot of time after hours with my friends, and we're going to go out and we're going to party. At some point, you're going to feel unfulfilled in your work once again. And then you're going to feel unsuccessful in that department of your life. So at the end of the day, success is a very, very, very difficult balancing act. And I think what I've just pointed out now is that the answer to this question is extremely difficult. Because as much as success is about feeling happy, finding that right balance that leads you to happiness is not that easy. Because it's a combination of being financially sound, having enough personal touch with people, finding some community effort, maybe through church, having loved ones that care about you, that you spend time with, having some pets around. There's so many contributing factors, but from each one that you introduce in your life will take some time away from the other thing that you have in your life. And that's where it gets tricky. That's where you really need to decide what's going to make up my success, which are the most important factors. How can I get the easy things out the way quickly? So whether that's wealth, whether that's setting up some specific family time that you can so that you can put it in a box. Okay, Sundays after church for 2 hours we have a lunch at the parents, and that's enough to just at least tick that box, and you don't feel as if you've neglected anyone. You're going to have to find some sort of a way to balance all these certain criterias and metrics into your life that makes up what a lot of us would, call success.
So life is actually complicated, and you're so right. It's not one thing. It's a balance of so many different things, and life is so complicated. I mean, if we had to break life down in a couple of different categories, right? I mean, my life consists out of physical, mental, spiritual, and career, and dreams or hopes or whatever. And I bring up Zig Ziglar a lot, but he had such a great perspective of this as well when I started listening to some of his podcasts maybe 3 years back or 2 years back. And he actually explained it in the sense that he called it the 7 spokes of life. And he breaks it down into saying that what is success for me in the category physical, right? So in my physical being, what is success to me? And to me, that is exercising, right? To me, that's achieving a certain level of exercise per day. Maybe it's 30 minutes a day at least, or maybe it's 5 times a week, or maybe it's 3 times a week, going to the gym or getting a walking, getting some physical exercise. To me, in that one aspect, that might be a success, right? But still, that leaves the rest of the other 6 spokes to be worked on. And if you go to the second one, mental, right? So what are you doing to create a successful day in your mental well-being, right? Are you reading a book? Are you doing mental exercises? Do you listen to a podcast? If you're listening to this, then you're already on the right track there of creating a successful day to you to some extent there. But breaking life up into a number of different pieces to the puzzle and saying, how can I achieve success in each and every one of those different ways or shapes or forms? And if you're interested in finding out more about that, go and look up Ziglar's 7 spokes of life, and just go and read, and that will give you a very good example to actually go and break that down. That really helped me analyze my life and find out what my success is, seeing as that we're on the topic of giving tips today once again. We will leave you with one final action step, but that's just some sort of way or a starting point to say, life is complicated. Life has a number of different aspects to it. It has family, it has relationships, it has financial, it has career, it has mental, it has physical well-being. All of these aspects come into play. And how can I go and create a successful life for myself? By starting today. It's not hoping for a successful, it's not an end goal. It's not saying that if this, then that, right? It's not an if statement. If you're a coder or if you've got some coding experience, it's not an if statement. It's not saying that if I achieve this, then I will be successful. It's saying, how can I start today by creating a successful day, by achieving success in all 7 aspects of my life? And this could be different. I mean, you could not, maybe you don't fully align with Ziglar's methodology of the 7 spokes of life, but to a certain degree, what are the main aspects that you want to achieve success in? And define that, and then start working on that on a daily basis and incorporate that into your daily routine as well. So in one example, I think we've all dealt with teachers a lot, Leon, yourself and myself included as well. My mom's a teacher. She's been a teacher for probably the last 30 years of her life, and success to her is not being rich and famous or being a pop star or a rock star or anything like that, right? Success to her is merely the fact of giving back to the kids that she comes into contact with each and every single day, right? So I bet you when she went, and any teacher, when they go and they decide on what they want to do or what sort of career path they want to follow, they can go and study for 4 years to become a teacher, and they can walk into an entry-level teaching job, which we all know that even doing 30 years of it is not going to make you rich. It's an absolute selfless job. It's an absolute purposeful life that teachers live, and the reason they do that is to achieve their own success or version of success, of making sure they impact the lives of kids at a very, very young age, and to have some sort of an impact that they can have on what it is that they achieve in their lives as well. And I think that to a large degree is what success is to teachers, for example. I don't know, Leon, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely, Mona. I mean, I'm actually married to a teacher myself. My wife's a teacher. And it is a very selfless job, and it's quite funny. I mean, if you speak to teachers, they often, or most of the time, they complain about the money, and they're like, it's not enough money, and it's such a, what is the word? Like, they don't get respected and all that kind of thing. And then you tell them, okay, well, that's a simple thing to fix. Just get another job, and immediately they'll reply, no, I love my kids, and I'm like, okay, but then you have to have trade-offs all the time. I mean, I want to maybe put another perspective to this. If you look at the wealthier people of the world, like, for example, Barack Obama, if you look at his measurement of the success, he talks about it's not about how much money that you have, but it's about the difference that you make in other people's lives. Now, this, again, it's something quite simple for a rich person to say. I get that, and I feel the same. It's very, very easy to say that when you don't have to think about what a loaf of bread costs. But there's still truth in that. There's something way, way more about giving back and touching other people's lives than anything else. Stephen Covey, probably one of the best authors of our time when it comes to self-help and those kind of things. He wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, Highly Effective People as well, etc. So he said, if you carefully consider what you want to be said of you in the funeral experience, you'll find what your true definition of success is. That's quite true. I mean, success could be measured by outstanders or bystanders as well. You could probably speak to a good mate or your wife or maybe parents or friends, and they'll be able to say that guy's successful or that guy's not successful. I've got some friends from various different stretches of wealth, if you just keep on focusing on that point. And I promise you, some of the guys with, let's call it less wealth or less money, seem way more happy than the guys with more money that's so stressed about their livelihood and the amount of expenses that they have and the mortgage and the big car down payments and all that kind of stuff. Because the more money you make, the bigger you start living. And so that doesn't necessarily mean success either. The guys that I know from our friend group that have maybe a slightly simpler life, a little bit more down to earth, maybe, if you want to call it that. I can't think of the appropriate terminology now without insulting a certain part of our audience maybe, but I don't mean it in that way. But obviously a lot of them just seem so happy and content and just fine with everything around us. And another one that obviously I really enjoy is Bill Gates's. If you don't know who Bill Gates is, please go find another podcast. I'm kidding. But yeah, so he basically said it's also nice to feel like you made a difference, inventing something or raising kids or helping people in need. So again, it's all about giving back. You'll notice that there's kind of like a theme forming here. Warren Buffett, very, very poor person. He said, I measure success by how many people love me. And again, love is something that you don't receive without giving. You don't just get loved without ever making or having made a difference in someone's life or making some sort of impact in someone's life. So there's a theme to success that I find could be one of the key factors, and that is finding yourself in a position at some point in time of your life where you don't need to stress about money. So I do think, and I don't know if I stray from the topic, Mono, please correct me, but there are two things that are tugging at each other here. There's the money aspect, because you don't want to stress about it, and money is a very, very good enabler. So money can enable so many things in your life, and it can absolutely take so many stresses away, which then allows you to focus on a lot of what these more idealistic things are about giving back. So it seems like it could be finding a balance between earning a decent income in such a way that you feel fine with that amount of money without ever thinking and stressing about money, and then having that extra time and mind space to give back to whatever cause or whatever charitable gesture that might be.
Yes, I think the most important thing is to ask yourself, what does success mean to me, and how can I go and discover that in the little ways, in the little things that I can apply in my daily life, right?
Yeah, I think success is also really something that you, and this is probably an important part of the messaging here. Success doesn't just fall out of the sky. Success is something that you unfortunately have to live and breathe and work for. You have to arrive, you have to pitch up for success. It's not going to fall in your lap. It's not going to come from the sky or some divine methodology or prayer or no matter what you believe in, it doesn't help and it doesn't work like that. It's about giving and then receiving, and it's about arriving and pitching up and giving your best. You have to set goals. You have to have a purpose. You have to define these things as early and as quick as possible, and that's absolutely going to paint a picture towards what success is going to mean for you down the line. There's a very interesting quote that I read somewhere, and I forget exactly where I read it. It wasn't one of the books that I read, but it was that I'm paraphrasing, but it was something around like success is learning that losing a few battles will help you win the war.
Yeah.
And this is another very, very important facet to success, is understanding that, again, like I just said, first and foremost, it doesn't fall into your lap. Secondly, it's about struggling and working hard at it and making mess ups and course correcting and going through potholes and so on, and keep on going and just keep going until you reach specific goals. Maybe take the bigger goal and split it up into smaller pieces so that you can have smaller goals to work towards. But it's about losing those few battles that's actually going to help you win the war. And that once you've done that, I think there's no better feeling. I don't think I've really felt that yet. I've felt that in smaller ways, more micro projects and things in life where you struggle and you do this and you do that, and then eventually get to that point and you feel, oh wow, I made it. We're currently busy building a pool at my house, and I promise you the amount of stress that this has put me through. I would not encourage anyone to ever build a pool. Buy a house with one, or just don't get one. It starts very simple. The goal is I want to, in the summertime, to have my kids be able to swim in a pool inside my backyard where it's safe. Very, very nice idea. Then they start giving you quotes. The quotes are okay. You get the guys, they start digging a hole. Then they strike a main line of sewage, for example. And this is not even, can't even make this up. But, then that's a problem. Not only does that cause a very big problem, it obviously shifts the goalposts of what you were intended to pay for the pool. And then there's weather that interferes, etc. But at the end of the day, tonight, right before this podcast, I actually shared a picture with Marne of the pool ready and finished and filled up with water. And I promise you, The temperature is not great, but probably after this podcast, I'm going to go have a dive, and I can't explain to you how good it feels to be at this point where it was worth it. It was worth pushing through all those things. And this is not obviously a definition of success. It's more of an analogy, or maybe an example of picturing what success in a life fashion would be, is about losing those battles and, just showing that character and that strength to push through them and break through those ceilings and barriers and reach new frontiers and surprise yourself with your strength and push forward to a point where you actually reach a point where you can at least feel successful or feel proud of yourself. And when you feel proud of yourself, automatically you feel happy. And for many people, happiness is pretty much the definition of success.
Yeah, and winning in those little battles will give you, so much more fulfillment and excitement and happiness, or not happiness, but joy, as you mentioned, in the daily things that you've accomplished as well. So now you've got a pool, Leon, that I think you're probably one of my only friends that has a pool at the moment. So, and it's summertime now, so I'm really, really amped to come and visit you. Maybe we'll do a podcast there next to the pool at some point, depending on.
It's 1 a.m. I'll see you at 2 a.m. Eh?
That sounds good. Yeah, let's do another. House. Yeah, let's do another episode quickly. But yeah, that sounds really, really cool. I'm really amped for you. With that regard, Leon, little successes, man. Little successes, tie into a much bigger picture at the end of the day, and makes you feel that you are living life to its full potential and achieving your success in a holistic view, as opposed to seeing it as one big picture of you want to go and buy a massive house that has a pool in it. No, for you it was, what is success to you? And it can change. That's exactly what we said in the beginning of the podcast as well, is that success to you when you bought your house wasn't having a house with a pool in it. All right. It was just having a nice, big enough place, and you've built onto your place so much more. So success has changed to you as well with that regard. You've built on an additional level to your house, and you now have an office, the actual office where you're sitting recording this in. And then it came to a point where you said, okay, success to me now means having a pool in my house and at least winning at that battle and having your friends coming over and having a place to cool down and like creating a vibe to my backyard and all of those things, right? So success can change, and it's, to me, in my personal life, in my career, it's changed multiple times. Success to me, first and foremost, when I left school, was just having a job that I won't get fired from, that I'd be good enough at, right? Then I achieved that, and I had to actually move up that success bar once again and say, okay, cool. Success to me right now in my life would mean finding a stable job with a stable income, not working for commission. And that was success to me, and I managed to achieve that. And then I achieved that, and I was like, you know what? Yes, this is good. But success to me right now would be working a corporate job where I get benefits, where I get a solid pay, where I get a pension fund or retirement fund, where I get medical aid, you're paid for, and can at least earn a decent income, and then rent a decent apartment. And so that moved up once again to now I want a high paying corporate job with more benefits and a bigger apartment or a bigger house and a better car. But that was success to me in the moment. And I feel that you shouldn't put yourself under so much stress to figure out what your success is and how to achieve a successful life, because it's not that philosophical. It's actually really logical. It's asking yourself, what are the things that mean success to you in the little ways? It could be coming home and having a very good relationship with your spouse. And how can I contribute to that on a daily basis to achieve success in that area of my life? And then saying financially, what should I do to achieve success on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis? Does that mean I have to put aside some savings to go and take my family on a holiday? Because that, in my financial aspect, could be an end goal, and that could mean success to me in breaking it down and saying that I want to go on one holiday a year with my family, and then saying, okay, how much do I need to save on a monthly basis to achieve that goal? and achieve success in that area of my life. So it's a daily habit, it's a daily routine, and you're so right in saying that, Leon, and touching on the action step for today. And I think just getting into and wrapping this section up here is saying, go and sit down and write down and really intentionally take time this week or this month to figure out what does success mean to you and all of those different aspects of your life. If you want, go and research Ziegler's 7 spokes of life, right? Go and research. There is so much content out on the internet at the moment, on the different takes or spins on, what life consists of or the different aspects of life. But really, you'll have to be the one deciding and intentionally going and writing down what success means to you in a financial aspect, what it means to you and your mental fitness or space as well, or in your spiritual life, or in your career, or in your personal life, in your personal goals that you want to achieve. So really, really take some time this week. It's something that has to be intentional, because like Leon said, it's not going to come to you when you wake up one morning and then have a breakthrough in life and know what success means to you. You'll have to intentionally go and sit down and actively think about what success means to you in each and every aspect of your life. So go and write that down, and then the most important thing, apply it to your life. Apply it in your daily routine. Think about little ways that you can contribute to having successful days, as opposed to waiting for a successful month or waiting for a successful year. If you're in sales and you want to make a certain amount of sales this month, right? It's not saying that, how am I going to do that? I need to achieve my target by the end of this month, by the end of this quarter, by the end of this year. It's saying, how can I contribute on a daily basis towards that? Maybe today, it's not selling to a certain person or to X amount of people. It's saying that maybe today I should take some time, put it aside, and go and study or maybe read up on how to improve my sales skills. And then that in itself could be, even if you didn't make a single sale that day, it could still be a successful day, because you contributed to the greater good of what success would mean at the end of the month.
Very important. And let's just call it like the top funnel activity of life. Marlene, we've got a couple minutes left. I thought this a very good time to flip what do you call it? Flip the script.
Flip the script, man. Yeah.
So before we leave here, maybe as a parting message from me, you are going to find influencing things in your life. You're going to read media. You're going to look at People magazine. Yes. You're going to go on Facebook. You're going to go on Instagram. And you're going to see various different depictions of success, or what the world wants you to believe to be success. And that's toxic. I don't know about you, Martin, but I can look at these things and just absolutely grates me to think that, I'm really happy for all these, call them celebrities or influencers or, I don't know, YouTubers, all these different guys getting so much success just off of maybe some luck, sometimes maybe some skills, maybe it's looks, maybe it's fortune, I don't know. But the point is that they depict the best parts of their lives. I touched on this in a previous episode. And that kind of, it just gives this absolute fake sense of success in a lot of people's minds. And I find it sometimes where I think, holy crap, why every time when I look at maybe, tech YouTubers, they look like they've got these amazing lives. I also like tech. Why am I not doing so great? You know what I mean? So try not to get influenced or put down by that. As we mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, success is very, very subjective, and it's very, very personal. So just looking at media, it's designed in such a way. No one's going to look at a advert of Will Smith having breakfast at Mug and Bean just because, he had a great morning. That's boring. But they're going to show Will Smith skydiving, and the next week he's doing interviews with paparazzi and all this stuff. It's just a stupid example, but you get the point. Don't get influenced by what you see in the media. Don't get influenced by other people's success. Don't even get influenced by your best friend's success. it's toxic. It's not going to serve you. It's not going to make you feel good about yourself. It's not going to serve your family. It's going to spill over into hatred and, terrible feelings of misfortune and self-worth issues and so on. So try and steer away from that. That's just a tip that I wanted to throw in there at the end. I thought I almost forgot about mentioning it, but I just thought that's important to put it in.
I love it. Stay focused, right? Because we live in this world where people are constantly selling us ideas, constantly selling us what we should be focused on. And just to touch on that topic while we wrap up, if if you see an advert for a brand new Audi or a brand new model of a BMW that just released, they sell you the idea that this is somehow tied to the success that you want to achieve, right? And maybe in some way it is, right? But don't get distracted. So step 1, find out what your success is, right? And write it down. And step 2, stay focused. Focus on that. Don't get distracted by the white noise and the stuff that goes on in other people's lives and the idea of success that they try and sell onto you, because people will try and sell their success onto you as well. Yes, this is what is important to me. Yes, this is what success means to me. And in some way, shape or form, you will try and fit in, because we spoke about this in our 4 Pillars of Meaning episode with the TED Talk from Emily as well. If you want to go and refer back to that, go and have a look at the Power of Meaning or that episode that we did. And it's, you crave that sense of belonging. So don't give into that. Focus on what your success is, what success means to you. Write it down. And then lastly, reevaluate. So those are the 3 steps that I actually want to leave with you. Find your success, what success means to you, right? Focus on that success and achieving that on a daily basis, and don't get distracted. All right. And then number 3, constantly check in with yourself. Be mindful of this, because your success could change. So ask yourself, maybe on a quarterly basis or on a monthly basis, track your success. Ask yourself on a monthly basis, am I still on track? Is this still what success means to me? And how can I go about maybe pivoting to, and we've got a dedicated episode to persevering versus pivoting your life as well, which we'll get to. But do I need to pivot? Do I need to change what my success is? Do I need to change my daily routine, my daily habits? Ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls, thank you so much for joining the 8th episode of the RLT, the Real Life Tips podcast. We hope that this has been informative. We hope that this will carry some value and inspiration through to you. And we hope that we could have shared some very insightful messages with you today. So from myself, Mono.
I'm Leon. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I think it was a really, really important and long overdue discussion. And like we said, go look at the show notes. We're going to put a couple of things in there. Go rate the show. Share this with your friends. If you think that there's some information or some guidance here that might be beneficial to someone that's maybe going through a tough time, or maybe finding himself in a tough spot, or that just wants to learn a little bit about mindfulness and being more aware of how to deal with your emotions and your feelings, and getting some life tips, share the podcast with them. I think it will serve many more people if we can spread the word. And yeah, I really enjoyed it tonight from a very nice, warm midnight evening. My name is Leon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you all so much. We hope to see you in our next episode. Till then, stay safe, stay warm, stay healthy, and take action. All right, we'll chat to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining this episode. We really hope that it inspires and motivates you. By the way, we're giving away a free 5-step personal budget template that will help you take control of your financial goals. So just head over to rltstudios.com, sign up for our newsletter, and we will get that right over to you. So head over to rltstudios.com, and we will see you in the next episode. Until then, cheers.